Ange Postecoglou's treatment of Timo Werner, in my humble opinion, is poor. Absolutely piss poor. Last night, if you were living under a rock and didn't see, Tottenham drew 1-1 away to Rangers. In Ange Postecoglou's post-match press conference, he said that the performance from Timo Werner was unacceptable and he expects more from senior players. Now, we're going to break down exactly what he said, and we're also going to react to today's press conference an hour ago from Haters TV. Make sure you go down and drop a like. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. We are steamrolling our way towards 40,000 subscribers. We are under 100 subscribers away from 33,000. So big up to everyone who's subscribed. Now, yesterday's performance against Rangers was horrendous, right? The match stats back this up. We were bad in possession. Senior players like Son, Maddison, Werner, Bissouma, unacceptable performances. The lineup, I thought Ange got it completely wrong. We just lost against Chelsea 4-3. And two of the players that have scored and been our better and best player this season in Dejan Kulusevski and Dominic Solanke were both left on the bench. You cannot play Son, Werner and Johnson against a team where you know you are going to have all of the possession and you know you're going to have good chances. Son and Johnson are both counter-attacking players. Their best attributes are their pace and is running down the wing and on for on goal. They're not possession-level players. They don't have good first touches. They're not renowned for taking players on. They both can't beat a man, but he consistently plays this way. If we would have played Maddison on the left, potentially, Kulusevski in the middle, maybe Johnson or Son with Solanke up front, we comfortably would have beaten Rangers. But this manager has no plan B and continuously wants to play his system, which we all know he is failing at an extraordinary level. Now, the title of this video is If You Don't Like It, Move On. And this is Ange Postecoglou's Ange Postecoglou's press conference this morning. Yesterday, he ripped into Timo Werner. And before we get into that, because I think his treatment of Timo Werner is nothing short of a disgrace, right? We know Timo Werner. We know he's not good enough, right? He's a senior player, yes. We know he's shot on confidence. When a player is shot on confidence and they're underperforming, you can either play it two ways. The correct way for me is build that player's confidence up, having a chat behind closed doors, and figure out a way to get him backfiring or get him performing better. You do not, in my opinion, go and absolutely destroy a player's confidence to the media. When you know full well Odebear is injured and Mikey Moore is injured. So the only wingers we've got is Johnson, Werner and Son in terms of wide players, because Kulusevski and Maddison are predominantly playing in that 10 position now, right? You look at Enzo Maresca's treatment of Madueke at Chelsea. Hasn't been performing that great this season. When he had a dig at him, it was after a win. So the morale in the dressing room is a lot higher than the morale in the dressing room at Spurs right now. We've won one of our last 8 games, and we've won 3 of our last 13. No matter how you dress it up, it's unacceptable to lose against Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, not able to beat Rangers or Roma in the Europa League, but somehow we beat Manchester City. How do the players and manager get up for playing Man City, but have been disastrous against teams like Crystal Palace and Ipswich, who are both in the bottom 4? This manager's tactic is finished. But we're gonna react to this because this manager is just infuriating me right now. Let's just hear what he's got to say. This is going to be interesting.
And you give a very honest assessment of what you felt Timo Werner played last night, and sort of waking up this morning, any regrets about the public nature of the criticism, or do you stand by that?
So just to give a bit of context here, of course, Ange ripped into Timo Werner last night, right? Absolutely publicly destroyed him. And Ange Postecoglou has had some backlash on the socials, which I think is completely fair. Because, of course, accountability is very important in football, but there's ways around it. Let's see what Ange's got to say here.
No, it wasn't criticism. It
wasn't criticism. Coming out and saying a player's performance is unacceptable is criticism. How can you dress that up differently?
It was assessment. I mean, if we played poorly, we played poorly. If we need to...
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? You knew what you were getting into, Ange. You approved the signing of Timo Werner. Now it's a fair assessment to absolutely destroy him. To destroy him as the Spurs manager. It's the 13th. It's the 13th of December. Get this manager out.
Individuals kind of hasn't, and like I said with Timo, it wasn't about, whether he played well or not, but, we had a real difficult game last night. I'm asking 18.
We played Rangers away, right? Don't get me wrong, it's a hostile atmosphere. They're currently third in the SPL. They made 4 changes to the 11 that won the weekend before because they've got a cup final against Celtic on Sunday. No matter how you dress it up with no Romero, no Van der Ven, no Vicario, that 11 out there, if you played Solanke, if you played Kulusevski, should have beaten Rangers. Funny enough, we scored a goal when both those players come on.
Year olds to do some massive jobs, and you want senior players, and he's a senior player. He's an international. He's won a Champions League.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What on earth are we doing here? I'm sorry, but the man management of Ange Postecoglou is some of the worst I've ever seen.
There's a level of application and performance you need to sort of rise to.
Okay, that's fair enough, Ange. But why are you not calling out Son? Why are you not calling out James Maddison? Why are you not calling out other players that have been horrendous this season, like Destiny Udogie? Why are we scapegoating Timo Werner? We know Timo Werner is not good enough. This is nothing new. This man is a dinosaur. Ask yourself something. At 61 or 62, however old this guy is, why has he never managed in a top league up until now? Scotland, okay. But Japan, Australia. And people are going to be like, oh, that's lazy analysis. It's not. Look at us right now. Look at us. We're just about inside the top 10 of the Europa League, and we're mid-table in the Premier League. We can talk about injuries all we want. Every football club gets injuries. Look at Man City. They've got one of the worst injury crises in the Premier League. But at least Pep Guardiola is trying to find a system with the players fit. We're just like, nah, it's just who we are, mate. It's just who we are. It's a joke. An absolute joke.
Sure. To help the team, and he didn't reach that. I mean, I think me taking him off at half-time was a statement enough, but...
So why don't you take off Son? Why don't you take off Maddison? Why don't you take off Basuma at half-time? Why? You just going to scapegoat Timo Werner in the media and destroy him? Get him out of this football club. Get him out of this football club.
The same way I won't hide behind team poor performance. It's the same with no different for players or anyone else. It wasn't criticism. It was just an assessment.
It's not a criticism and it's an assessment. What are we doing here, man? Like, what are we actually doing here? It's madness. Absolute madness. Do you know what? I can't even be bothered. I'm not even going to watch it. I can't be bothered. Like, it's just insane. You look at the fixtures we've got coming up, right? We've got Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Newcastle in our next 8 games. Like, we got Wolves and Southampton. If we can't beat the bottom 2 in the Premier League, then the manager really has to go. For me, it's not good enough. Nottingham Forest, 4 days after playing Liverpool, and that's Nottingham Forest away. We are a wounded animal right now. Whoever thought it was a good idea to put a 7 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday as well needs to be looked at. And we've got a massive game on Thursday night. If we do not beat that Manchester United side, I just don't understand what we're doing here. The manager has lost the dressing room. There's a video going around on Twitter of him walking off the pitch with Heung-Min Son. He's giving instructions to Son or saying something to do tactically, and Son's just absolutely ignoring him. You got Troy Deeney in TalkSport ripping into the manager. Yeah, if I say anything that's to the level of criticism, or in Ange's case, an assessment, I'm not a true Tottenham fan. The manager is finished. The tactics are some of the worst in the Premier League. The naivety to never ever change system. The treatment of some of our quote unquote senior players. This isn't good enough. You can't tell me that Fulham, Bournemouth, Brighton and Brentford have got better squads than Spurs. The difference is their system, their coaching is better than ours. If we do not beat Southampton, I swear to God, I am going to smash my house up. I am going to lose my head. We are currently 11th in the Premier League. If West Ham beat Bournemouth, which is unlikely, but if they do, they could be above us. Fulham and Brentford are 3 points above us. No matter how you dress it up, it's absolutely categorically unacceptable, the level of performances we have seen this season. I don't care what anyone says, it is not acceptable. For Tottenham to be sitting 11th in the Premier League, top 4 is the aim. We're currently 7 points away. I don't care. I simply do not care. I'm not even going to moan about Daniel Levy at this point. I'm not even going to moan because it's absolutely pointless. Let me know your thoughts down below. Am I being unreasonable? Yeah. I'm out. See you soon.